Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Paul Stusser. I'm VP of North America at ReadSpeaker. I'm going to be talking a little bit today about voice. And before I start, I just want to put something out there. What is your voice strategy at your organization that you're working with? Do you have one? Are you using the same voice as your competitor? How does that differentiate? How are you delivering that voice? Those are all different things that I'm going to talk about today. So when we talk about voice strategy, voice branding, your brand of your voice is everywhere. And ReadSpeaker has been doing it now for 25 years. We are celebrating our 25th anniversary. When you talk about ReadSpeaker, we are a global text-to-speech organization. And that global organization is providing over 50 different, well, technically about 55 different voices. We are constantly making new voices and delivering it. And we'll talk a little bit about that voice method today and how we're offering and delivering it. And then also, what we're going to kind of talk about is how we're delivering it. Now, my deck's not up, as you can see, so I'm kind of ad-libbing. So I want to go from there. But I can technically start. So traditionally when we're looking at ReadSpeaker, as you can imagine, over 25 years of delivering and offering speech, we've established an amazing stable of brands in providing that. And the areas that we're providing voice comes in all different areas. It can come in providing just a MP3 feature. It can also come into an environment to where you need to be localized. It could also be in the cloud. It could be on a wearable. It could be in a chatbot. It could be in a mobile app. All different initiatives centered around voice is what we're doing. Also, I want you to think, when we talk about ReadSpeaker and our 25 years of experience, I think what we also have to kind of discuss is how you look at ReadSpeaker. We're recognized as the most independent third-party feature that is out there and creating and offering voices, and we're creating that inclusive environment. So I wanted to start with the symbolization of the F-35 fighter plane. Okay, and when we're talking about the F-35, we're highlighting the explosiveness of it, cutting edge of it, the speed of it, and then also how is voice involved in this. So it's a F-35 actually is a product with Lockheed Martin, where ReadSpeaker is the voice inside the training module to help those fighter plane pilots and other mechanics receive certification and classification regarding that. So I kind of wanted to talk about, the ability of offering into secure environments of there. What I also wanted to do is, when we were talking about the brands, these are all the different voices in all the different organizations that we've worked with through the years. So from Johnson & Johnson to Hello Kitty to Sony, as you can see of that. And what we're doing is, all of these brands have one thing in common, that they've come to ReadSpeaker and trusted us for delivering voice. But also ReadSpeaker listened to them regarding how that voice was offered and what they needed. And what we've done is we're providing that exclusive AI voices through that deep neural network to help organizations create that branded premium voice. What it comes down to is the customer experience. And that customer experience can be in all different environments. It could be utilizing a product. It could be utilizing it through media. So just to go around the clock here with this, advertising and media, when we're talking about that bubble, ReadSpeaker is working with the leading Italian newspaper and providing an audio version of that newspaper. Why? Well, one, they wanted to create a brand, a voice that is recognized, that relates to that. The second component, they had an aging population. What was their demographic? So as that aging population is transitioning to digital, they wanted to provide that multimodal experience to support that. The other aspect is onboarding and training. One of my clients is the Colibri Group. Colibri Group is a massive organization that supports anybody in real estate, accounting, nursing, professional educational training. Almost anybody in those fields have to go through them. And in working with ReadSpeaker, this initiative was centered around real estate. What we did was we looked at who is their end user. And we found out that that end user for the real estate license was a 39-year-old female. And what we did was we went back to the voice talent. We found a voice that was a 39-year-old female, and we created a custom voice to read their content in a SaaS environment inside their learning management system. And the idea centered around it was completing the course faster, providing a multimodal, more accessible, inclusive environment, but more importantly, helping those end users, I don't want to call them students, those adult learners to become more successful and complete their course because they're experience the content, not only reading it, but also listening. So it was a significant area there. The other things, most likely we've all gone through TSA. If anybody's gone through DFW lately, down in Dallas-Fort Worth, you'll see when you're going through TSA, there's actually a chatbot that centers around providing an experience through that, or actually it's a hologram. And what we are is we are the support or the voice behind that. We worked with that organization to provide that voice. So there are all different ways that we've provided voice for organizations. Now, when it comes to voice, anybody can create an MP3 file. It really comes down to how is that voice going to perform? Is it an SDK? Is it on a wearable? Is it on an exercise bike? Does it online or offline? These are all different areas. What is your unique situation? Do you want it on premise? The F-35 was definitely on premise. Do you want it on your cloud or on our cloud? Those are all different experiences. And then you get into some of the accessibility that ReadSpeaker brings, that inclusive environment of content reading, reading websites, reading pages centered around that. And then finally creating that customer persona of relating to who those end users are. So what I'm going to bring up is the one of our clients is Sonos. And hopefully you recognize this guy. If anybody's a Breaking Bad fan, if you're a geek like me, you're a Star Wars Mandalorian fan. This is, of course, Giancarlo Esposito. If you've ever played video games, he's a voice all over the place. What happened was Sonos needed an organization to create a branded voice of Giancarlo Esposito, but they had a unique situation of how they wanted that audio output to be delivered. And what we're going to do is we're just going to show a quick video of the Sonos experience. This is the importance of audio right here. All right, so till we get it going, let me give you a little background regarding that. So Sonos needed to find a third-party feature. They wanted to create a unique brand regarding their voice, but they also want it localized into their new Sonos speaker. So we're looking at almost an SDK. We're looking at a branded voice of a Hollywood superstar to be not only the technically the voice of their product. Also, it was working with an individual that is multilingual, so not only creating a voice in one language, but being able to make it scalable to support other languages. How we come, guys? I apologize because this was the best part. Well, this is also available on our website and also on the YouTube channel to where it supports it. Oh, I think we got it. That's the next slide. We can move it back.
Sonos Voice Control, it's a voice control created specifically for the Sonos users and designed from the ground up to control music and to control the Sonos products.
The other difference is also on privacy. Audio data is processed locally. Nothing goes to the cloud.
With a voice assistant, there's a couple of parts. There's the voice itself and also the playback device. And so you kind of have to have both of them acting really, really well to get a natural sounding voice. The voice and the edits that we create in the studio, they get fed into the machine learning algorithms to create the voice assistant. What you end up with is not exactly the recordings that you started with. And to kind of help complement that work, we actually bring in external creators.
My name is Giancarlo Esposito, and I'm honored to be the new voice of Sonos. When I was approached by Sonos, I was really excited, and I realized that they'd be manipulating my voice or the sentences which I said in many different ways, and I thought this is an opportunity to use my instrument in a different way.
Trust Eileen to squeeze all the drama out of a situation.
Previously, we have had to instruct our voice actors to read in a very monotone voice, but now through the advent of AI, we can have them read more naturally and make the final product sound much more humane. When recording Spanish, I both had help from my colleague who is a native Spanish speaker and Giancarlo's own personal Spanish coach to make sure that he pronounced it correctly.
My expansion from doing this has allowed me to think differently.
Hearing Giancarlo's voice come out of the Sonos device for the very first time was just such a delight.
But it's warm, it's comforting, it's charming, but also it's informative.
Hey Sonos, what's playing?
This is Superstar by Beach House.
So that was a nice little promo of our voice capability, our voice functionality, but also the importance of the ethical practice of delivering voice, of working with the voice talent, of having an agreement, third party, with the also functionality of, well, technically when we work with organizations and we're creating voices, they own that voice. So they have sole entity of that voice to where they can use it. And here's Joseph's quote regarding about the pleasure of working with us. We're greatly honored with it. One of the key takeaways from the quote here is our linguistic team. As we're creating it, we're also enhancing the voice, constantly improving it. And if there's regionalization, if there's acronyms, if there's markups that need to be happen, to get to the most accurate voice in that environment, ReadSpeaker can support that. And this is my last slide. So I want to appreciate and thank everybody for sitting through the presentation, me ad-libbing a little bit. We also have a booth, so please stop by, and let's create more inclusive, engaging experience for all users with responsible AI voices. Thank you very much.